Hi there, I'm Pat McLagan, consultant to organizations around the world on issues related to managing and working in today's changing world of work. And I'm sitting here at the very tip of South Africa. Behind me is the Cape of Good Hope and False Bay, and also some of the oldest rocks on the planet, Precambrian rocks. I'm sitting here on purpose because it's a fitting place to be talking with you about my new book, The Shadow Side of Power: Lessons for Leaders. This is one of the most powerful places on the planet, the Cape of Storms. And I'd like to talk with you as leaders, formal leaders, people with positions of power, because that's who the book is for. It's for you if you're a supervisor, a team leader, a manager, an executive, an elected official, a church leader, a head of a country. It's for you if you have a formal position of power, because in that role you are both yourself and your role. And your role carries with it all sorts of temptations to move in directions that may not be as good for you or for your organization. Also, the shadow side of power focuses on power and how important it is to use it wisely in today's very complex world. When 2007-2008 financial crisis hit, I saw it not as so much a financial crisis, but rather as a crisis of leadership and a crisis of management. And I wanted to write a book called The Management Crisis. Well, after thinking about it, I decided to write an allegory and to make the point about leadership and all the temptations of leadership that come along with it in the form of an allegory. And so I wrote The Shadow Side as a story about a hero named Adderley who meets a guide called Penneth. And Adderley then goes on a journey. He's been promoted into a senior leadership position and has to think about that role as he moves along his journey. He moves along with Penneth into the leadership inferno. And there he circles through 7 circles of the inferno, meeting people who have done various things not so wisely with the formal power that they had. And at the end of the book, he has to make a decision about whether he's willing to and able to take on that formal role, because along with that role and all of its powers go many, many of the temptations that we're all quite aware of. Now, just to make the point a little bit clearer, I would like to tell you a story about an executive I met some years ago when I was working with one of the big global corporations. He was a very high-level senior vice president. And he told me a story about when he first moved into that role. He said that he came in on a Friday into his new office and just made a comment that the office was a little bit dark. And of course, when he came back on Monday, it had been repainted, relit, and the furniture was lighter. Well, he was flummoxed. He said to his people, well, what happened? And they said, well, you said that you wanted the office changed. Well, that certainly wasn't his message. He said, I was just me. I don't know why they took what I said the way that they did. And I said to him, when you're in a leadership position, when you speak, you roar. When you walk down the hall, you shake the earth. When you look at something, it's like laser beams looking at it. So you are more than yourself. You are your role. And in that role, you take on all of the projections and all of the issues that everyone around you has in dealing with authority. And you also take on your own issues with authority and your own unfinished business with leaders that you've worked with and been with, dating all the way back to your childhood. So it's very important to be conscious that when you're in that role, it takes on extra responsibility. So the shadow side of power is really about power. It's about the constructive use of power. It teaches you about 7 ways that leaders must use our power wisely. And what are the rewards? I think there are 3 really big rewards. 1, if we use our power wisely, then all of those results that we're trying to achieve through our institutions are more likely to occur, and our stakeholders are more likely to be satisfied. Secondly, if we use our power wisely, then we will grow as a human being. In fact, I would say that a leadership position presents us with more opportunities for personal growth than just about anything else that we can do. And after all, growing and becoming fulfilled in our life is a very important personal agenda for all of us. And finally, if we use our power wisely, we're sure to leave a legacy of a better institution, of people who have grown, and of perhaps even a world that is better. So formal power carries with it many energies, positive and negative. It's very important for us as leaders to move into that role consciously and deliberately, knowing that every day we're going to face many temptations and challenges, that the role is going to try to take us over, and we may be tempted to think that we are the role instead of being the stewards of that role. So order a copy of The Shadow Side of Power, Lessons for Leaders today. Also, I have a free reader's guide for you. Come to www.patmclagan.com, sign in, and I'll send it to you. Hopefully it will enrich your experience reading the book. And by the way, I'm posting blogs just about every week, so I hope you'll join in, join the community, join the conversation, and let's all move into a future where we're all using our power much more wisely.